Summary of 1,000 Splendid Sons by Khaled Hosseini. Chapter 1 of book starts in the early 1970s, when Maryam is a girl living in a kolba, a small hut, outside of Herat with her mother, Nana. It turns out that Maryam is the harami, literally, bastard, child of Nana and Jalil, a rich Harati movie theater owner. Maryam learns to read from the Quran from Mullah Faizullah, who she respects and looks up to. Every week, Jalil comes to see Maryam. Nana tries to explain to Maryam that Jalil feels bad about her and won't accept her as a real family member, but Maryam thinks he can't do any wrong. One day, Maryam goes down the hill into Herat for the first time to see Jalil, even though he doesn't want her to. She is told that he is not there, and after sleeping on his stoop all night, his driver brings her back to the kolba. On the way, she sees Jalil looking down at her from the window. When they got back, Maryam saw that her mother was pulled over by a rope. Even more so now that she knows Nana was right about Jalil, she feels terrible shame. His marriage to Rashid, a cobble shoe store owner 30 years her senior, makes her hate him even more. Maryam is amazed by how modern cobble is, but Rashid makes her wear a veil and stay at home most of the time. Rashid takes Maryam on tours of the city and gets her gifts at first, but after she has several losses, he becomes angry and mean, yelling at and hitting her. Part 2 is told from Layla's point of view. She is growing up in Kabul, not far from Rashid and Maryam's house, and her father, Bobby, is helping her get an education. However, Layla's mother, Mammy, is sad and can't take care of her because she misses her two boys, Ahmad and Noor, who have joined the Mujahideen to fight the Soviets. After the two boys are killed, Mammy's sadness gets even worse. But Layla had a much better childhood than Maryam. She walks home from school with her friends Jiddy and Hasina, takes lessons from Bobby, and best of all, she is friends with the playful 5-year-old Tariq, who lost a leg in a landmine accident. Tariq and Layla both see the Soviets leave Afghanistan at the same time. They start dating just as fighting breaks out among the Mujahideen, and their first sleep together is right before Tariq's family runs away to Pakistan. Soon after, Layla's family is also getting ready to leave when her parents are killed by a rocket that hits their home. Part 3 has chapters that switch between Maryam's and Layla's points of view. Layla is dug out of the rubble of their house by Rashid, and Maryam slowly heals him. But it's soon clear that Rashid's kindness is just a cover for his real goal, which is to marry Layla as his second wife. Rashid says he will put Layla out on the streets if Maryam doesn't stop him. Due to her pregnancy with Tariq's child, Layla agrees to marry Rashid. She knows that this is the only way to save herself and the child. Maryam hates Layla, and the two of them live together with constant stress and hatred. Soon after, a man named Abdul Sharif comes to the house and says he was in the hospital with Tariq. He says that Tariq's truck, was hit by enemy fire on the way to Pakistan and he was seriously hurt and later died. At first, Rashid cares about and loves Layla. He gets angry that it wasn't a boy after Layla has Aziza, a girl. This makes him restless and even violent. Layla tries to stop Rashid from hitting Maryam at one point. After having a few cups of chai together, these two women start to become close friends and partners instead of rivals. This small act makes things better between them. Layla tells Maryam that she has been stolen from Rashid little by little and that she wants to run away to Pakistan in the spring. They go to the Kabul bus stop with Aziza and ask a nice-looking guy to pretend to be their cousin and ride with them out of the city because the Mujahideen don't let women travel alone. But the man turns on them, and Layla and Maryam are questioned before being taken back to Rashid's house and severed from each other and locked in separate rooms. Soon after, the Taliban take over Afghanistan and start to enforce strict Sharia, a strict set of religious laws that make it illegal for women to work and seriously limit their freedom and movement. At about the same time, Layla finds out she is pregnant with Rashid's kid. She almost has an abortion on her own, but she decides she can't do what the Mujahideen did, which was to accept that good people have to die sometimes in war. When she gives birth to her son Zalmai, it is a scary C-section in Kabul's only women's hospital, which doesn't have any drugs left. Zalmai is happy and playful, but he's mean when he's with his father, who treats him well while ignoring Aziza most of the time. After a few years, Rashid's business burns down during a terrible drought, and his family starts to go hungry. When Maryam calls Herat to talk to Jalil, she finds out that he died in 1987, not long after he tried to see her in Kabul but was turned down. Aziza has to go to a shelter because Rashid makes Layla do it. He doesn't always agree to go with her and Maryam to see Aziza, so Layla has to go on her own. When he doesn't, the Taliban beat her up for being a woman on the street by herself. Layla, Maryam, and Zalmai are coming home from the school one day when Zalmai shouts that there's a strange man outside the house. Rashid paid Abdul Sharif to make up the story that Tariq had died so that Layla would agree to marry Rashid. It turns out that Tariq really did die. Tariq had instead made it to a refugee camp. To make money for his family, he tried to bring coats across the border into Pakistan, but the police found drugs in the coats. He had been in jail for 7 years before he went to Murree, Pakistan. While he was there, he worked at a hotel to save money. He meets Aziza after Layla tells him about her. But that night, Zalmai tells Rashid about the strange man Layla was talking to. Rashid kicks him up and starts beating Layla and Maryam. Rashid flies on top of Layla and starts to choke her when she hits him back. Maryam knows Rashid is going to kill her, so she gets a shovel from the shed and breaks it over his head, killing him. At first, Maryam tries to make Layla feel better by telling her that they will run away together and live a peaceful life in a small town. But the next day, Maryam tells her that she can't let Layla and her family suffer because of what she did. She says she could never have imagined feeling loved and like she belonged because of her friendship with Layla. She gives herself up to the Taliban. She is put in jail and then sent to Ghazi Stadium to be killed after a short hearing. Layla and Tariq live in Murree and work at a hotel at the start of part 4. Layla likes living in Pakistan, but she knows that Maryam did not give up everything so that she could work as a maid in a different country. The family goes back to Afghanistan and stops in Herat first. This is where Layla meets Hamza, Mullah Faizullah's son, and sees where Maryam grew up. Hamza gives her a box that Jalil had left for Maryam. Inside is a letter from Jalil asking Maryam to forgive him and enclosing her share of the fortune, which is too late for Maryam to receive. At the end of the book, Layla is teaching and fixing up the building at the same home where she had sent Aziza. When her third child is born, she knows for sure that it will be a girl and will be called Maryam.
About the author. Khaled Hosseini was born in Kabul, Afghanistan to a diplomat and a Farsi and history teacher. His family came to the US as refuge seekers when he was 15 years old and went to live in California. In the end, Hosseini went to Santa Clara University and then medical school. When The Kite Runner came out and became a big hit, Hosseini quit his job as a doctor to write full-time. When he went back to Afghanistan in March 2003, he felt driven to write more about what it was like for Afghans to live under the Taliban. He is a UN Goodwill Ambassador and runs a foundation that helps Afghans. He lives in the north of California.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.